Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Together Out Loud. I am going to. Did I? Hold on. I didn't disconnect it from the thing.
Oh.
So I'm going to disconnect it from the speaker in our shower so that we can do a sound check, because this is what we always do.
And we're a little bit later than usual.
Yeah, it's not 109.
And we're a little bit late.
Yep, sound check. It's not 109.
Because it's raining today.
Going live at 1:25.
There you go.
Welcome to another episode of Together Out Loud. Maybe we'll start off just by saying not yesterday, I'm forgetting what day it is. Yesterday we went and we took the car in to get it inspected and spent a lot of money on brakes, rotors, blah, blah, blah. But the day before that, we went to Philadelphia to meet Patty Pimlet, and that was fun. That was a great time. I definitely admire him. I admire his outlook on men's mental health and unaliving awareness. I so hate that I have to say it like that. Yeah. But I really like his outlook on that. And unfortunately, like, I couldn't say anything to him because it was so quick. It was packed and it was really, really quick.
He had a good turnout, so that's good.
Indeed.
But yeah, it really was just like, hi, how are you? Picture, bye-bye.
Yeah, yep. And I did the math on it, and in order for him to, so if he had 3 hours to get it done, and it was 1,000 people, I did the math on it, and it would be 10.8 seconds per person before he starts going over his 3 hours. I'm only sending it to people who are online from now on. Okay. I wish we could figure out how to send it to people who follow the channel.
Yeah, I'm
actually sure. Maybe that's what we should try to do. These are all people I think in your phone, right?
Yeah, because he doesn't follow, and he's in my phone. That's who I used to work with, and she's the realtor.
And if you'll forgive us, we aren't the most tech savvy.
Not when it comes to TikTok, because I'm not.
At least I'm not. I'm definitely not. She's better than I am.
The only thing I like about TikTok is,
well, I'm breaking first fast. I don't know if you did.
Yeah, I had a piece of cheese earlier.
Okay.
I like that you can go live on here. We don't have a lot of followers on this channel, and for some reason they allowed us to go live. But like on other platforms, you have to have a lot more followers. So it's nice that we're able to go live on TikTok and interact with people. And I like some of the editing that, like the templates.
Yeah, TikTok has some nice editing templates and stuff.
So that's it, really the only reason why.
And if you guys are just joining and you haven't been in here before, you haven't listened to us before, we present this in podcast form. We upload it to Spotify and YouTube, and then we upload clips to Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. And I'm letting you know this because it's all live. So if you go and you join the channel on YouTube or join the channel on Spotify, or you subscribe to us,
we don't edit anything.
We don't edit anything. So everything that you will see is as time passes and live. So anything you guys bring up in the chat, we will discuss. That's the main reason we do this, is to help people. We want to help people, and we want to be a positive. What's the word I'm looking for? Positive
influence.
Thank you. On other people. I don't know what DS means, but thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Harvey said you're a beautiful couple, and thank you, Harvey. And we appreciate that. And thank you, Louie, for the follow. So our marriage advice, we usually, it varies, because we also do parenting advice.
And we're not professionals or anything.
Yeah, we're not professionals. Also, she has, I'm like drawing a blank so much today. My mind's not with it. She has been educated in psychology and general psychology and stuff like that. She has a background in that. I am just researched in it. So I've studied like Carl Jung, Jordan Peterson, and I can't think of the author for Thinking Fast and Slow. That's a really good one. But I like to give that statement so that people don't take it as like, this isn't like This isn't going to be like, we are going to answer all your problems. What works for us may not work for you, and
Right.
what works for you may not work for us, and likewise, or vice versa. But we just want to try to have conversations with people together out loud, which is what it's called. But we like to have conversations with people because there are some things that you may know that we have never heard, and there are some things that we may know that you have never heard of. And we try to keep everything as positive as we can and as optimistic as we can, rather than just getting on and pound the likes and send us gifts and blah, blah, blah. We just are here to be supportive of you. Yeah, we don't want to attack you. And even if somebody wants to debate something or they want to have a conversation about something that we disagree with, we're not going to attack your opinions. So we may say some things that offend you, and you will probably say some things that offend us as well. But that's life, and we just feel like open conversations help benefit everybody that's involved in those conversations.
But marriage advice, I would say just realize that your partner is not going to be perfect and is not going to fit into this ideal image that you had of who you were going to marry, and that not everything is black and white, and there's lots of compromise involved. And people are meant to change, so encourage each other to change for the better and support each other.
Positive reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement, yes. And also being open even if it is scary, because I know sometimes it can be scary just telling somebody how you feel because you don't know how they're going to react. So that's my
and part of the reason we're doing this is I don't know how to, it's a really long name, says, are you guys Satanists? We are not. We are Christians. We are devout Christians. Yeah, that's
why would we have that up
why
there?
would we have the Lord's Supper up there? But another reason that we do this is we have been together almost 11 years, married almost 11 years. And we just give advice because we've had other people say to us that we have a healthy relationship and a good relationship. Like people who know us in life and have been around us are like, you guys are just always really positive and like you don't fight often. And even if we do fight, I don't even think we fight. We have disagreements, and then we have conversations about the disagreements that we have, and then we move past it. And then whoever the name is, the defer Saxol Futita, said, yeah, 100% cheating had to occur. I don't know what you mean. Cheating on tests, cheating on a spouse. No,
we like to do things together.
We just like to do things together. Actually, you know what? That'll bring me into a topic that I literally was just marking. Actually, I just wrote it down. Where's what I just wrote down?
I don't know, you wrote something.
Sorry. I was just writing this down, so it's funny that you brought that up. No, it's not that one. It's right at the bottom. I know it's at the bottom, so it's probably on the other side of this one. Here we go. Sometimes I feel like we are an unconventional couple because we love each other, and I look around at other couples and they don't seem to like each other or want to be around each other. I wrote that down as a note as I was out driving in my truck.
Really?
Yes, yep. And I genuinely, sometimes I feel like maybe possibly the definition of a conventional couple is changing, but I do genuinely feel, for example, like this person commented, I do genuinely feel that
people think it's weird.
Yeah, people think it's weird when two love each other or want to be around each other, like to spend time together. And she and I speak about this often on this podcast. We want to be around each other. I want to be around her. She wants to be around me. We want to be around the kids as well, also, because a lot of times, even when we do stuff alone, we'll be like, we miss the kids. I wish the kids were here. But that's another thing, I guess, with this podcast. We want to bring some normalcy to actually loving your spouse and loving the person that you're with, even through the flaws. That's the main thing. Is a lot of people nowadays, we're in a throwaway society. I've commented and said this before. We're in a throwaway society where people just want to, it's broken, it's not worth it, throw it away.
And they don't treat marriages as something more sacred than a regular relationship, where it is. It's like, first of all, legal and in the eyes of the Lord, and it's not something that you should just be like, well, we're gonna break up because of this, because I don't like this and that and the other thing. Well, that's what I mean, where like your spouse isn't going to be perfect, so don't expect perfection.
Absolutely, absolutely, exactly. And I think one of the main things in the marriage is the promise and the commitment. Two of the main things, I said one, but the promise and the commitment that you make with God that binds you. It takes two to one. It binds you. And now this also is an advice that, like, if you're in an abusive relationship or anything like that's happening, obviously we're not telling you to stick it out and fight through it.
Right.
If you can't. I mean, obviously, I think that you should do everything you can to try to make it work as best as you can. But that includes working on, actually, not includes, entails working on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's part of the other issue too, is that people don't want to work on themselves and don't want to look at what they may be, what the flaws they have that may need changing. They just expect the other person to change. At least I feel that way, in my opinion. And also going back to like us spending a lot of time with our kids, now is the time to spend time with our kids. I kind of don't understand why people wouldn't want to spend time with their kids when they're younger, because the time goes fast, and then they're not going to want to spend time with you when they're teenagers or adults even. And the relationship that you build with them now as young kids is going to define the relationship that you have as an adult, because I feel like we possibly could have had a better relationship with our parents as adults if things were different in our childhood.
If they had nurtured the relationship more. And as Dr. Jordan Peterson brings up, I bring up from him, is your children are the only people you can have a perfect relationship with, literally, if you don't screw it up and you don't mess it up. And now that's not easy. I'm not going to say that that's easy, but you can at least make it loving. And I think what I love most about our relationship as husband and wife to our children as parents is that we are really big on forgiveness, and we're really big on conversation and and stressing that everybody makes mistakes. Everybody messes up. Everybody makes mistakes. Even our own mistakes. Because, I mean, we do things wrong to the kids too.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's going to do things wrong. For example, I'll just list an example. The other day, I was frustrated because feed's coming out of my boom, and it got out all over the ground. And at this time, Lennox had helped, our middle son had helped earlier, with the bins and stuff, but at this moment he was inside the truck, and I opened the truck and I yelled, I said it much louder and worse than this, but I was like, are you gonna get out and help, or are you just gonna sit in the truck all day? And then I slammed the door shut, and then he gets out, which I was so amazed and actually admired this about him. He was so calm. He walks over to me. I'm over by where all the feed fell on the ground because I have to shovel it up, I have to clean it up, and he walks over to me and he goes, what do you need me to do? And in my head, like, I'm still kind of angry, but I'm also flattered and impressed by his demeanor. And I was just like, yeah, just use the shovel and shovel all this into these little buckets, and I'm flipping these buckets over to put the feed into. But the reason I'm bringing that up is we all make mistakes. And I love, I started reading this. Kinley says, love y'all's tattoos. I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you. And we hope you have a blessed day as well. And please feel free to follow and join in whenever you'd like, and join in the chat. And that goes for everybody in here. Feel free to join in the chat if you have anything you'd like to discuss. Back to what I was saying, I was using that story to point out that we make mistakes as well, and I did apologize to him directly afterward. I got in the truck and I said, I'm sorry that I yelled at you, and I'm sorry that I reacted that way. And he was like, that's fine. And I said, no, it's not fine. You can accept the apology, but it's not fine. Like, I shouldn't behave like that just because I'm frustrated with something. And he was like, I understand. I get like that sometimes too. And I was like, yeah, but I like that they can see me in those positions, and that I get an opportunity to say I'm sorry, because one, it will encourage them to it will help them to understand that we all make mistakes. Even dad and mom make mistakes. So mistakes are okay and mistakes are normal. It's how you react from those mistakes. But also, two, that we can go and later, after the fact, apologize for what we had done and apologize for the mistakes we've made. And it's not the end of the world either, because I grew up a lot thinking that everything was the end of the world whenever I would make a mistake or mess up. That was just kind of like my upbringing. And I think a lot of people actually in our generation would agree with that. That that we were kind of led to just believe like, no, you need to be perfect. Everybody needs to be perfect. And anytime you mess up, and I mean, especially, it's not just from parenting either, though. It's nature over nurture as well. It's the environment itself that we have created, which I think is a terrible environment. And I think we're kind of starting to push back. I'm optimistic about that. I think that we're pushing back against society and the environment where when you're at a job and you make one mistake, it's like, well, I'm going to have to get rid of you. I'm going to have to kick you to the curb. But also recognize that sometimes if you make that mistake and someone does kick you to the curb, you get fired, terminated, whatever, that can also be a blessing in disguise. So don't always look at it like, oh man, what am I ever going to do now?
And trusting in the Lord that he's going to turn it around. That's what I mean, it's scary, especially when you have a family to support and take care of now. So now you put a little bit more pressure on yourself not to make a mistake, because it won't just affect you, but other people. But it's, in that particular situation, it's just a job. It's not your life. That's what I always
That's what
say.
she always says to me. And it does help, actually, because it's the truth that it is just a job. It's not my life. My family is my life. Protecting them, providing for them, that's my life. I do want to go back and touch a little bit, though, on what I said earlier about sometimes I feel like we are an unconventional couple because we love each other and other couples don't. Because I wanted to give some examples of, like, for instance, people that when we're at soccer,
Yeah.
couples, like,
Yeah.
it'll be like wife's over there, husband's way over there, and it'll be like the gossip crew of the women, and then the men.
The bros.
Yeah, I mean, the bros don't usually gossip, but at least, like,
they're taught.
yeah, everybody seems to want to be
each other.
separated from the
Yeah.
people that they love. I share everything with her, and she's my favorite person in the world. And I think part of that also is because I've never found, praise Jesus for this, I've never found somebody that I can be open with and be myself with without judgment. And another crazy part of that is because it's without judgment, I have been able to make changes easier in my life because of the fact that she doesn't judge me harshly. Because, I mean, of course, you need to be judged a little bit because I don't want her to just dismiss it. Like, if I'm messing up, I don't want her to just be like, yeah, that's okay, we all mess up. Keep going. We need to work with each other to be like, well, yeah, you know, I like this. She's more inquisitive. There we go.
I was just gonna say that.
That's a good word to use.
Yeah, and I was gonna, because he says that, like, he can be open and honest without being judgmental, which, yes, but I know that I do have a tone in not just with him, but with a lot of people, and it does come off as judgmental, but it is honestly part of it, like, curiosity, because I want to know more as to, like, why is this person making this choice, and then also because I'm like, this is not the choice I would make. So I'm not saying necessarily that my choice and everything I do is always right. That's where the curiosity comes from, where it's like, oh, maybe they're doing something better than what I'm doing. So it really is it's a curiosity thing. So a lot of times when he does talk to me about stuff, and I don't have experience in it, especially because I really don't understand guys. I just don't. I mean, that's okay. And
actually, I feel like you understand guys more than other women that I've been with, though.
Well, it's because I try. That's what it is. Like, I know that guys and girls are different, and that's the problem with women, is they just expect a man to do things the way she would do it, and so they get ticked off or annoyed or frustrated if he's not doing it that way. And I think that brings about problems in a marriage, because the woman just expects the man to do something a certain way, and it's not going to happen. And I'm happy that we are open and honest and really communicate a lot, because it does help me to understand that men and women are different, and that is okay, because it doesn't mean anyone is better than the other. It's just that we have strengths and weaknesses in different ways and just do things differently. And I think that's part of the problem with couples.
Yeah, it goes back to how I said about throwaway society.
Yeah,
they just want to throw it away. Mm-hmm. They feel like it's broken and it can't be fixed. But the funny part, Jordan Peterson talks about this. a lot of our issues can be solved with simple conversation. That's another reason we're doing this.
Yes.
Because you can solve a lot of problems and a lot of issues in the world with simple conversation. And actually, I think I'm going to bring this up as a point because Dr. Jordan Peterson talks about this. I think another part of the problem, we'll do a two-parter with this, and we'll see what you think about this.
Okay.
One part of it being that sometimes people listen, but in their mind, they're thinking about their response. So they're not really listening to you. So they're just thinking about their response instead of actually hearing what you have to say. Two, a lot of people, when you make a statement or a claim, will assume what you mean by that. I'll give an example with this one. For example, I saw a guy that was on Dean, I can't remember Dean's last name. He was on Dean's podcast, and I actually got into debates in the comment section of this because it was a conversation about P3DOs, because I'm pretty sure we can't say that word. But it was a conversation about that. And this guy asked Dean to explain why grape was bad. Now, here's the reason why I bring that up. Dean, instead of asking the question, and this is what I mean by don't assume you know what someone means by something that they state or claim or ask. Instead of answering the question, Dean went into, oh, here we go, and kicked the guy because his first assumption was, since you're asking me why grape is wrong, you don't know why it's wrong. So therefore, you support grape. Those were all assumptions. We can fix things in life through open, honest conversation. That is a dishonest conversation because instead of listening to the guy and figuring out what his feelings are, or perhaps answering with a counter question of, well, what's your thought on it? He just immediately assumed what the guy meant by it. And I run into that all the time because I love a morality conversation where it's like, okay, but I want you to explain to me like I'm a third grader without using God, without using our Lord, why it is bad. Because they can never answer it. It always goes back to, because here's the thing, if we are nothing more than evolved animals, then we are no better than those evolved animals. You wouldn't call a lion evil for chasing down and eating a gazelle. Therefore, if we're nothing more than evolved animals, I wouldn't be evil for going and unaliving anybody because we're just animals. It doesn't matter. It has no meaning and it has no actual consequence. Sorry. I know that I kind of rambled on, but we can go back to the conversation and what you think about that after I read Flash's comment. You order food and tip cash. They forget your order and refuse to refund. Do you take the tip back?
Well, if they
refund,
forget your food, I wouldn't be like, well, here's your tip. Like, I wouldn't give the tip until I got my food. Yeah, I'm not understanding the question. So no, yes, I would keep my money and keep my tip.
I mean, it depends. Are you tipping cash? If you're tipping cash, you would never give them the money in the first place. That's what he says.
You order food and tip cash.
Oh, and you're tipping cash.
They forget your order and refuse to refund. Do you take the tip back? They would not be giving you the tip in the first place.
No, it is. It is kind of a conundrum, though. He's saying because the person who's delivering your food isn't the reason that you're. Well, then, yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No, they forget the food. They forget your order. So
I think he's saying that the company is refusing to refund. But there's a person who came.
But they didn't have the food.
They didn't have the food.
That's a dumb sorry, that question is
confusing.
Irrelevant or whatever. It doesn't make sense. That question does not make sense. I'm not going to say it's stupid. It just does not make sense.
Thank you for the question, though, Flash. We really appreciate it.
But yeah, going back to, I agree with you when people will not actually listen, they're already thinking the response in their head. I know that I can be guilty of that sometimes because of just for the fact that I interrupt. And the reason why is because I don't want to forget what I'm trying to say.
Me too.
Especially if the person is talking about a few different things and I have my response for the one thing. And then they're adding on. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to forget this one thing.
Which I just did. Sorry.
So, yeah, I agree with that. And I think that also part of that problem is people are very, society's quick, instant gratification. So they don't really want to take the time to listen either, in my opinion.
Sometimes they're a little more involved in getting gotcha moments.
Yeah, yes. And then when it comes to that example too, yes, I agree with you as well. Don't just assume that you know a person's intentions behind what they are saying, especially in the debates and stuff like that. That's why I don't like debates. I can't stand it when he goes on and debates these people, because I just know, like, you're wasting your time, because these people are not problem solvers. They just study. It's just like the way the public school system is. Memorization. This is what we want. And that's what they are in debates. They're not actually amazing at debating. They just study a certain topic, and that's why they get so angry if you try to change the topic
or relate something else into the topic.
or relate something that's going to go back into the original topic. Like, here is like my supporting research or information. Maybe it's slightly a different topic, but it is supporting this main topic or whatever. They don't like that, because they're so like, I study this topic, I'm gonna be a pro at this topic, and that's how I'm gonna win the debate. And so that's why I'm assuming in that case Dean got so upset.
Dean Withers, I remember his last name.
He got so upset at that guy because that guy was not. He wanted to know Dean's, like, you tell me.
Yes, he wanted to know his perspective on why grape is bad.
And he couldn't give him that because he doesn't know how to think critically, and he doesn't know how to problem solve, and that is the problem. That is why we're all turning into an idiocracy. And so I'm hoping that now that homeschooling and stuff like that is becoming more popular, the Gen Alphas are going to go back to knowing how to problem solve and knowing life skills and knowing critical thinking, that we're not going to be so dumb.
And actually, we'll go on to the topic of homeschooling since you brought it up, because I just saw a video on homeschooling, and it was this woman just kind of ranting and raving about, I can't believe you guys who are uneducated feel like you are smart enough to raise kids. So anybody in the chat, if you guys have any questions or opinions of homeschooling, please feel free to chime in, because I commented on that and was getting into debates and conversations with a number of different people. Actually, the one guy that I mainly talked to was very respectful, and I appreciated the conversation I had with him, because there were some things that we agreed upon and some things we disagreed upon. And I think that the best conversation is something like that, where you can come out of the conversation learning from each other. User 773-686-828-1104 says 2 libs going at it. Shocker. Which is
going at what?
Hold on. Which is pretty funny. We have a Last Supper Jesus Christ picture up here. Liberals don't generally believe in Jesus. They usually are humanists. And I know that I'm stereotyping here. I was trying to think of the word.
Well, I'm assuming this person's stereotyping just the way we look.
Yeah, I'm assuming liberals. It's the tattoos and stuff. User says 773, so on numbers, says you all hide. We don't hide anything. Okay. I believe in Jesus Christ. I have conservative.
I love this. No, user 7 blah 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 numbers. Look at ya. Hello. Yeah, this is what I mean. I'm not left or right, and this is the reason why
we are centrists.
You're the same.
Strong centrists.
You are the same. So
we are in the state of Pennsylvania, which is a swing state, but we have voted pretty far right Republican for the most part until recently. If you want to get into politics, until recently when President Donald Trump decided not to follow through on any of his promises, which made us just kind of realize, like, they're all the same.
Go Fetterman?
Fetterman.
I actually do not vote for Fetterman, but I like what he's doing.
She likes his get up.
And he's actually trying to, like, I'm just based on what I've seen. I don't know.
Certified Groiper says yup, and the user 773 whatever says shocker. Well, and here's the reason why. We can support people on both sides.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems is everybody wants to pinhole you into a certain side and picking a side. You don't need to do that. And I think that's one of the huge problems. El Kui LOL says vote blue. No. Don't vote red. Don't vote blue. Vote independent. Vote whoever you like the most, and start kicking these people out who aren't getting the job done that you want done.
I'm going to take you off even more, user 773. I am starting to become a fan of Hunter Biden.
Oh, well. We are both a fan of Candace, which now suddenly the right hates.
Yeah.
We are fans of Tucker Carlson, also the right hates. Here's my thing, and somebody else commented on it earlier as well. Vote blue. Independent is a wasted vote. No. Sorry, LQ, Kui, LOL. You can vote whatever you want. And here's the problem is the system's broken. Certified Groper says love them both.
Good.
Us or both parties?
I'm assuming... Well, we said Hunter and Candace, so maybe...
Oh, maybe Candace and... Yeah. If you can confirm who you're saying that you love. But we are independent thinkers. We can vote for who we want, and we can...
And you guys can vote for whoever you want.
And you can vote for whoever you want, and we don't dislike you for that either.
Oh, Candace
and
Tucker.
I agree.
Yeah, I like Tucker too.
I agree, user 773686. Your government is broken, is what they say. And actually, I agree with you on that. We both agree with you on that. So no, it is not two liberals going at each other. And Certified Groper said, Candace and Tucker, like my wife said, yes. But we just like to think independently. For example, this might make you mad. We don't believe Charlie Kirk was unalived by Tyler Robinson. We just don't. There's no evidence that really points out that he was, and all the evidence is trash. And I think one of the biggest pieces of evidence, speaking of, because Candace just debated Andrew about this, one of the biggest pieces of evidence is that his fingerprints were the most degraded on the rifle. Come on, people. Come on, people. Think. Use that noggin of yours. Certified Gripper says, I'm too far to the right for the Republican Party. And also says, no, P wasn't. Thank you for agreeing.
Thank you.
And thank you for the conversation. And thank you, user 787, whatever the numbers were, for bringing up the topic. Because we love that too when people judge a book by its cover. Yeah, we're tattooed. And another thing, a lot of people will judge us on the tattoos because you wouldn't look at us and generally think we are Christian people who are conservative and believe in Jesus Christ. But that's my president now. Jesus, JC, baby. JC all the way. Because there's nobody we can trust. Sorry, because, we voted for Mr. Trump 3 times, and the first 2 we didn't really feel betrayed. This one just completely betrayed. The Epstein files never released, and now all of a sudden it's a Democratic hoax. And it's just, I was literally just, and like she was saying how both parties are the same and both sides are the same. It's 100% true. I've debated Democrats and I've debated Republicans, and they're both exactly the same, and it's disgusting to me. And the reason it's disgusting to me is it's like, I genuinely was part of your party, and you as a Republican are saying all of these disgusting things about me instead of just hearing me out. Like, you don't want to hear me out. You don't want anybody to question your beliefs. It's like the right and the left both just want to live in their echo chamber of groupthink. There we go. Mm-hmm. Just like 1984. Cyper says I'm what? Twice.
Going back to saying that an independent vote is a wasted vote, I've heard that on both sides too. But what if more and more people voted independent? Would it still be a wasted vote? Because no, we're not. I'm not even. I don't even feel like voting anymore. Cyper said, "I'm guessing you voted blue."
No, we did not.
So thanks for again judging us by its cover.
And actually, for the midterms, we don't plan on voting.
No,
and the reason is because sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Here's another problem I think that we have is people swing so far to the opposite side that they're like, oh, fine, the Republicans let me down. I'm going to show them. I'm going to go and vote Democrat. You're not showing them anything. You're just voting for the other wing of the bird. It's the 2 wings keeping the same bird in the air, people. And the voting machine, the voting is broken. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. I know that there was like the huge issue with the votes in 2020, correct? 2020 election. Yeah. And everybody thinking that the election was stolen, blah, blah, blah. It's always stolen. It's rigged for
whoever is in control no, we're not MAGA either.
Actually, we are genuine MAGA. TX Communist says so MAGA. We are what MAGA should be. Make America great again. We are America first.
But anyway,
and that's the thing too, actually, sorry not to interrupt you quick. Theo was just talking about this because he doesn't like to be labeled. He's like, well, like, because people will think, like, because I have conservative values that I am pro. I'm trying to think of the word for it because you can't say the W word. I'm pro-conflict. There we go. People will think I'm pro-conflict just because I'm conservative. I'm not. I just want people here taken care of. I want America taken care of. The Son of Man says, not looking for votes or running for anything. The Son of Man also says, pay attention to what I share with you, Daniel 7:13-14 fulfilled. I am the ultimate authority by divine decree. Only God can control the clouds. I've given the sign. Hey, I like that. Thank you for all of those quotes. And that's who we believe, Jesus Christ. And if so be at the end may come, I'm okay with that. I have Jesus. So, you know, I know that's a very pessimistic. We're doing all this. We're very optimistic in life and stuff like that, but we don't worry about it because we believe in Jesus Christ. And we have salvation through Jesus. So that is where our value comes from.
Can we go back to the homeschooling thing?
Yeah, the homeschooling thing. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, first I want to say something. Like I said, going back to the people who want to judge us because the
way we look
because we have a certain way.
We look liberal.
First of all, I said this the other night to him. The fact that you allow what other people look like affect you says something about you, for one. And for two, hypocrites. You all are hypocrites because, like I said, you complain about the left and liberals using emotion and talking trash and judging, where you do the exact same thing. So maybe instead of attacking each other, we should be coming together because the higher ups, that's what they want you to do. They want to keep you guys apart. And so it's not left or right. It's all the same, unfortunately. And no matter who you vote for, they're going to put in whoever they want to.
That's what we believe now, yeah.
So it could be like, oh, it was rigged, da 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 da. Yeah, it's all rigged. It's all rigged. Whoever
a certain country wants.
Whatever, I don't know. Whoever they want their puppet to be, whoever's easier to control. That's it. So I'm sorry for the people who are so enraged by the fact if somebody's a liberal or so enraged if somebody's a conservative or Republican. It's sad. Like, find something meaningful in your life to do instead.
Yeah. And also I wrote down a little note. You guys want to complain and then not have conversations though.
Right.
That's the biggest problem is instead of coming in and having an honest conversation with us and just saying, hey, just by chance, are you guys liberal? And then we would answer that, which we did anyway, in a way. But because you're all left and the right, they're stuck in their box so much. Groupthink, going back to 1984 again, their groupthink, they're stuck in that box and they can't get out of it. And I think part of that also is because everybody wants to be included. So you think like, well, I can't be independent because then I'm out on my own. I'm kind of on my own and I need like support. I need a support group. And I can understand that. Excuse me. I can understand the need of having a support group to help hold you up and lift you up. But there's a lot of freedom out here, guys. If you just come outside of that box and think freely, and you'll recognize that a lot of people agree with you on more things than you know. I think that we as a society can govern ourselves better than we think. But unfortunately, we just...
It's easy to manipulate you.
It's easy to manipulate all of us, yeah.
And I don't know, I feel honestly too, I think the people who are hated most, more than the left hating the right and the right hating the left, are the people who say, I'm independent, I'm not left or right. It's like they hate you the most. And it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird to me.
But I think also another part of the problem, I just wrote this down, I think that sometimes there is comfort in relinquishing control.
I agree.
And I think that some people are just comfortable and like, no, I want to stay in my echo chamber in my box and believe that this particular person or party has all of my best interests in mind. And then on the other side, likewise. Meanwhile, they don't try to do anything to pass anything that you want. you continue to elect the same people that don't pass policies that benefit us Americans, don't pass anything that benefit you at all. And I'll give an example. Look at the example of C-19. And while we're all struggling and they're going, here's your $200 stimulus check or however much it was, which they took back, stupid as well. While we're struggling over the summer, they're giving themselves raises. That's how much they love you and care about you guys. So, but the problem, like I said, is that we continue to vote for them. And I also don't blame people either. I'm not just going to throw America under the bus and say this is the citizens' fault and the citizens' problem. I'm also going to say I sympathize with everyone because it is pretty difficult to choose between a plate of poop and a plate of poop that has glitter on it. And that's pretty much those are the choices we're given.
Which one has the glitter?
All the time. I would say the left because they're flamboyant. I would say that they have the glitter.
Okay.
The rainbow flag. Yeah. That represents the left. But now this isn't anything against them either. This is just the statement that I'm making. So, and I think that's part of the problem. It sucks. But again, I am optimistic though because I think that we are making a change. I think that, like, for example, when I hear politicians on Jordan Peterson or Theo Vaughn's podcast, I do agree with these politicians when they say, vote local and talk to your local representatives. That's where you can make the biggest change locally and just worry about your politics and your government and all of that on a local standpoint because those people are going to represent you better than you go to a state representative. Like, they don't care about Podunk Town and Linden, PA, or wherever you may live. They have other fish to fry. Or I think it was Thomas Massey also said, contribute to their campaign because they'll be calling you all the time because they'll want you to contribute again.
Well,
so
that's why we're moving. So
yeah, but and I don't know the answer either. I think the answer is open conversations and free thinking. I think that's
the problem. People don't know how to freely think for themselves.
Yeah, and I genuinely think that they want us pinned against each other, as my wife just pointed out, and they want us to stay focused on the fighting and the arguing instead of focusing on the things they're not doing for us, of course, you know. Like, take term limits for Congress, for example. That's been at like an 87% approval rating. That's been at like an 87% approval rating for like how long, and they've never passed it. They never will. Teddy asks, when did you become Muslim? We are not Muslims. We are Christians. We believe in Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. But actually, I guess I can't say that because there are, from what I hear, some Muslims who believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God as well, which I thought was pretty interesting because I never knew that. And I was like, I didn't know that they believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God as well. That's all I know for certain is Jesus Christ is the Son of God. So everything else is subjective. That's an objective truth. Jesus Christ, actually two objective truths. Jesus Christ is the Son of God, right? Mm-hmm. And God is the objective orator of all morality.
I'm not understanding.
And Teddy asks, that's why I asked if you were Muslim. No, we are not Muslim. We are Christian. I was raised Baptist, but there are some things that I agree with and disagree with in the church. Those are all. But I think that a lot of the things we agree upon and disagree upon are small issues compared to Jesus Christ as the Son of God. That's it. Teddy said, I thought you were part of the nation. No, we are not. We also don't have anything against the Nation of Islam either. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, I'm okay with anybody if you believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And Leroy Smith says Jesus is fictional and your belief is also. That's wonderful, okay, Leroy Smith. That is your opinion.
I'll pray for you.
But, no, you are wrong.
Thank you for the rose,
Thank you for the rose, Teddy.
I don't know what that
does. And Jesus Christ is the Son of God, is not fictional. There is plenty of evidence of his existence. So even to say that he is fictional shows your character. And that's all I'll say about that. But we can go back to homeschooling if you would like.
Yeah. We started talking about homeschooling. You started talking about people who were
Teddy said, I was just asking as a fellow Muslim that's not part of the nation. See, yeah, and
Okay.
I'm assuming the Nation of Islam. But that's cool. And if you believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God also, God bless, man. That's amazing.
I hate talking about politics. That's why I'm
Oh,
just
you get worn
I
out?
just get annoyed.
See, I don't get annoyed. I just am like, whatever. Teddy said, I do not. Well, I
Okay.
pray that someday you may change your mind on that. And respect to you as well. Thank you,
Yes,
Teddy.
thank you.
And feel free to follow if you want to come in and join conversations and at some other times.
And
And
that's
also
a prime example of how you can
yes,
different-
disagree and still
yeah.
respect and love each other, because I
Exactly.
still love you too, Teddy. I
Yeah,
love you, man,
same.
and I pray that, because I'm not Jesus either. I'm not Jesus. I'm not God. So I pray one day that you'll get to see the pearly gates and Jesus will be like, "Hey, buddy, it's me," and you'll get to be like, "Oh, I guess I was wrong," you know? Because I am one of those Christians where I don't pray for damnation for everybody. I don't want anybody to be damned. I think it's terrible. I don't think Charlie Kirk wanted that either. I thought of him instantly because he talks a lot about religion and stuff, but I want to see everybody saved. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that maybe
Leroy.
one day afterwards we'll get to talk to him and he'll be like, "All right, I guess." And we'll be like, "Sorry, our bad." I mean, we're I don't want to say stupid because I don't want to get flagged, but we are all stupid. We're all just stupid little human beings who have no clue. We have no clue. But other than like my strong, firm belief that Jesus Christ is King.
Leroy Smith says it's all government work to keep people away from the truth, and I believe you guys are actors. Okay, well, I mean, if that's what you believe, cool, but we're not that special. Anyway, back to homeschooling. So you were saying that you were having a conversation with people who were, who had a negative opinion on homeschooling.
Yes, they said, "How can you be so dumb and homeschool your kids?" Can I touch on this real quick? Just
sure.
the government thing. I'm just going to touch real quick on it. It's all government work to keep people away from the truth, and I believe you guys are actors. No, we're not actors, but I also like to bring this up because I am fascinated by objective morality. I would be interested if you would share in the chat where you get your morality from then, because if there is no God, then you may be correct. It is all government just trying to manipulate everybody. But I think because Charlie Kirk would mention this a lot, Dr. Jordan Peterson mentions this as well. The fact that we live in on a primarily civil planet for the most part, thousands upon tens of thousands upon millions of people can get along fairly well for the most part. That right there in itself is proof of the existence of God, because there's no reason that we would evolve into a state of consciousness for one, or a civil society. Actually, I think even Ben Shapiro has spoken about that you would not be able to evolve into a civil society. You would just stay animals. We would have just been animals for eons, for eternity. We would just be the same as lions. But continue about homeschooling, and I was having conversations with people about their lack of intelligence.
Okay, I have to find my thoughts again because I was so sidetracked. So I'm assuming they're saying because these people have been educated in teaching others that we're the homeschoolers are the dumb ones because we have not. Okay, that just goes back to the fact that you can have a degree and learn things, but still not. You can still be ignorant in the subject, for one, and for two, how hard is it to teach people life skills when you go into the public school system? They're not even teaching you the truth about history or anything like that, for one, and for two, that's not anything that's going to, again, proving or point these debaters don't know how to critically think or problem solve. So anything that you're learning in the school system is not teaching you any of that. Case in point, those people who argue that. Another thing is, look at they want to measure schools' success based on these standardized testing, and you see how many of these schools are failing. The success rate and the graduation rate of these schools are low. So how is that more successful than somebody homeschooling? I'd like somebody to tell me that.
Yeah, and I agree with you on all of those. I will also point out the fact that the education system is completely broken. There's too much money spent on the education system. It needs completely revamped. Dr. Jordan Peterson has spoken with people on his podcast about how our education system today is still designed from the time of the Industrial Revolution. That is the reason why you have bells between classes, because the bells between classes are supposed to get you indoctrinated into the bells at work for break.
Yeah, conditioned.
It is exactly the same thing, and it's designed that way. And it's also designed after like the prison system, where the buildings are similar, the lighting's the same, the desks, the almost like very strict, organized dot way about it. And we're coming to find, actually, because he speaks to a lot of people who are doing like online academies or just different alternative learning styles, that sorry, I'll answer your question in a second, Adriana Marie. We're starting to learn from different styles and stuff that they're working better than the way that these education systems are working. Adriana Marie asks, how do you guys feel about homeschooling? That is what we were discussing. I'm sure that you're recognizing that. I like the idea. I believe she agrees with it as well.
If I could do it, I would, because I've noticed, and this is just my opinion, maybe I'm biased, but I've noticed that our children learn more things from us and being at home and doing hands-on things
random research, which we'll be doing today,
than they do at school. And I've gotten several compliments from teachers how they are surprised at how emotionally mature they are. Our daughter, our youngest, who was in kindergarten last year, that was one of the compliments that we would always get. And I feel like the school system, I mean, even the teachers, because I have teachers that I've had friends that I haven't talked to in a while, but they are teachers, so I'm not bashing teachers either, because I once was going to go back to be a teacher, and I know the restrictions that they have on how they teach and what to teach, and that is sad to me, that they also cannot be creative in teaching because they have to teach around these standards, and it just is so frustrating to me. And I would love it if we could go with a community type schooling, because we understand that the economy, most of the time you need a 2-income household, unfortunately. So I like the idea, and Candace Owens actually brought this up too, of like having a community. So a couple of days, having the kids in the community, in the neighborhood, a couple of days a week. I teach the kids something, and then a couple days a week, a mom down the street teaches the kids something, and there's a community schooling. I think that would be the best structure. It is a homeschooling, but brings back the community, because they want to separate us. So that I guess is one good thing. You get the kids to be socialized, but also they don't get to be kids. Our one child is very hands-on and is very like he needs to be doing something all the time. And so I would get kindergarten first, second, third. I think fourth grade was the first year that I did not have a teacher complain that he's just like squirrel.
Flighty.
Yeah.
Well, and that's also because, sorry, not to interrupt you, Adriana Marie, thank you for the follow. We appreciate it. And thank you for the conversation. Sorry, not to interrupt you, but that's also because Dr. Jordan Peterson brings this up. Men are very physical. Even at a young age, it is super important for boys to participate in physical play. And unfortunately, this is his opinion, and I share the same opinion. Unfortunately, there is not enough physical play for boys at that age. And the ones who do want the physical play are flagged as bad students and flagged as bad kids. And then that like sets up that psychological the psychological, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of sets like a standard of like them thinking in themselves, like their inner thought of, oh, I'm bad, I'm not good at any of this. And I will also touch on like I don't think schools, we touch on this a lot in this podcast, making mistakes and learning from your mistakes, making mistakes, forgiveness, stuff like that. Schools aren't very good at a teaching process of making mistakes. Think about that. And it's just my opinion. So obviously, like, I don't have all the answers either, but think about like when you were growing up, if you got an F, you like were devastated by it. At least I was. Like, I was just like, I'm the worst. I'm not a good kid, blah, blah, blah. And that's the worst thing you can do, because now if you start to get consistent Fs, which I wasn't getting Fs, I was a pretty good kid. But I'm just thinking on a basis of like those kids who do get the Fs, I can understand psychologically them going into like, man, I'm terrible. I'm the worst kid. Like, this is why my parents don't like me. And this is why nobody at school likes me, because all I do is flunk and fail. And we're not good at teaching, like, because it's like, well, you took this test, you got an F, and you don't get like a makeup test. I mean, I know some people will be like extra credit and stuff like that, but it's not like you get to make up for your mistakes. It's on to the next lesson. It's like, all right, sorry you failed that. Now we get to go learn about this instead. Adriana Marie said, I honestly learned more as a cheerleader at a competition than in a classroom. And I can understand that. And because, I mean, I think perseverance is a good thing to teach children. Overcoming mistakes and overcoming letdowns is a huge thing to teach children. And I mean, like you said, I'm happy that our kids are emotionally mature and emotionally responsible, but not all kids are like that. So, and then also you have the problem of some parents don't want the trouble, so they just let the education system take all of the weight of it. Like, I'm not going to teach them anything or do anything or any of that. Like, and then now you have an overstrained education system with students who have a bad home life, have like their parents aren't teaching them anything, their parents aren't good even on them like mentally and emotionally. Sorry, I didn't know if...
Another thing I wanted to say too, like going back to the grading system, one thing, see, like this is the thing, I don't know how to change it, but I disagree with the No Child Left Behind that Baby Bush implemented a while back. And I disagree with, now I've seen like the grading system is more lenient.
I always disliked bell curves.
Yes, that too. I disagree with that, because it's like you're not teaching the kids to be better or do things differently. And you're also teaching the kids that do work hard and get the 100 that like, oh, I shouldn't try so hard because it's going to be a bell curve anyway.
Yeah, you can do all that work, but we're going to kind of share your grade with other people.
And then it's designed to like just keep people unintelligent, keep them from not knowing how to think for themselves. So I think what should be changed is knowing that people do learn differently. And also I think there should be smaller classrooms too, because there's some kids that also need one-on-one time. I know kids get teachers' aides and things like that, but guess what? Those teachers' aides don't have to be certified in any kind of teaching. They're just a regular person. So if you want to use the argument that like homeschooling is stupid because they don't have the proper education, well then you should say the same about a teacher's aide too, because they don't need the same educational requirements, and yet they're doing more one-on-one work with certain children.
And Adriana Marie agrees with your take on that too.
Thank you.
I just think, and this isn't perfect, but I think it kind of goes back to that you catch more bees with honey quote, that famous quote of you catch more bees with honey, and that is you're going to get a better result with positive reinforcement and positive change in schools rather than, and I'm not saying that all teachers are like this either. I have had teachers in my life that were very positive and very encouraging, but you do also have teachers that don't care. Here's your F. Sorry, you didn't learn it.
Right.
Bye. Or here's your F. Study harder next time.
They don't take the time to wonder why, like what's going on.
Yeah. And then the kid brings that F home, and now the kids or the parents are also getting down. I'm like, what's this? You got to do better. You no video games, no fun, no nothing, because you got to get your grades up and you got to do better. And unfortunately, I think that's going to create more negative reinforcement than it's going to create positive reinforcement.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not like I'm not a stickler about grades. I'm really not. If behaviorally I'm getting reports that they're jerks or whatever, then I'm gonna be upset. So like going into parent teacher conferences, I love when I get positive feedback on their character, and I really don't give a crap what their report card looks like. and like going back to one of the like
I kind of like ours here though, because they do that whole like efficient, inefficient.
Yeah,
like instead of like giving like passing grades, I like that.
No,
I like that way better.
Changes. I think 5th grade you will.
We'll actually get like passing grades and failing grades and
yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, but what I mean is like from a standpoint, like from a start, because I remember actually getting actual grades in like 3rd grade, 4th grade.
Me too.
So if that's a change that education is starting to push more towards, I like that, because I like that it's like, oh, he's efficient with this, so he's doing great. Or inefficient, he needs to work on this a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's better than being like, you failed, you suck.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, bro, go dig ditches for the rest of your life. Adriana Marie says, I personally care more about character and emotions rather than grades. Like, grades don't define you. That's
Absolutely,
funny that you say that, because
yes.
she
and
was just saying
I
the
did
same
see
exact
that.
thing.
I did see one of your comments up there saying that you can't wait to homeschool your future kids, and I think that's awesome.
And we hope that you are successful with that.
Yes, and
we would do that if we could afford it.
I've done the research. We could do it while still working full time because of the fact that the kids don't need 6 hours a day for state requirements for homeschooling. However, it would be very, very difficult because of the fact that I'm on the phone all day for my job, but I work from home, so it would be even better. But it would be like we're getting up at 5 a.m. to do schoolwork, and then I'm doing work, and then we're doing stuff.
I think it wouldn't be a bad thing to try when they start to get older and they can manage themselves.
Yes,
because I think that would be a good test on like,
Absolutely.
Can you manage your own time,
Yep.
and can you learn on your own, and like structure your own learning out for yourself.
And I am not opposed to charter schools either. I know they're still part of the public school system, but I'm not opposed to that because they're a little bit more lenient regarding the shots, for one, which I actually never had an issue with this school district, knock on wood, about shots.
Shots, yeah.
But they also provide all of their equipment and things like that. So like for science, they have experiments. Another thing, prime example, Kiefer. He's very hands-on, and the one thing that he would talk to me about all the time when he got home is the things that he learns in science. And so like that's how I know that kids just learn differently, and unfortunately the school system is not designed to accommodate to all the different learning styles. But yeah, I would be all for like even a charter school allowing them that discipline, because I think that helps when, for example, if somebody is gonna work remotely, you need that same kind of discipline to manage yourself. And
so you're not just sitting around watching Oprah on the couch.
So it would be a life skill in itself to do homeschooling or even charter school.
Adriana Marie says, I was personally in public school and it was extremely stressful, and I don't want that for future kids. I agree with you on that, and I don't either. I believe I've shared this story once before, but when I dropped out because I got into narcotics and stuff like that, because I don't think we could say the DR word, DR, but when I dropped out, one teacher tried to talk me out of it, and that's a pretty sad statistic.
Very sad.
Like the rest of them were just like, bye, see ya, have a good life. And then only one teacher was like, "You sure you want to do this? You're a bright kid, and I think you have a lot of potential." Blah 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 blah. Mr. Poachman. So Mr. Poachman, or any of his children, or anybody who's watching this or who knows him from Williamsport, which I'm sure he's probably retired now because he was older at that time. But if you know him or related to him or anything like that, he was a great teacher. He was a good man, and because I think that's an important trait to have when you're teaching kids, is that like you don't want them to quit or give up on themselves.
No.
But every single one of the other ones were just like, yeah, goodbye, we don't care.
I want to shout out Mr. Carpenter, my college English teacher. Well, he wasn't college, it was college English in senior year. He was the one who tried to convince me to become a teacher, and he was cool.
And I'll shout out Mrs. Smith as well in Jackson Elementary.
Oh yeah.
Mrs. Smith, because I had behavioral issues. I was a bad kid. And she came up with this little tactic of these cards that she would use a hole puncher in. And she was like, what's your favorite candy bars? And I was like, Three Musketeers. She was like, do you like anything else? And I was like, Skittles. And she was like, okay, listen, I'm going to give you these cards. And as long as you don't have any interruptions, I'm going to get you Skittles and a Three Musketeer at the end of every week. But if I have to punch this card 3 times with the hole puncher, you don't get it. And from that point on, I was well behaved. I mean, you can bribe a lot of kids with some candy.
And that's where your love of candy.
Yeah, that's where my love of candy came from. Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Adriana Marie says, I was also an IE. I don't know.
IEP, that is
that's you?
IEP kid. That is somebody who they create like an IEP plan for maybe behavioral or educational issues.
But she is in college for nursing. Good luck with that.
Yes, good.
We always need more nurses.
I work with nurses. I'm not a nurse myself, but I work with them, and I do not envy you if you need a very empathetic attitude.
Yes, loving and kind.
Yes.
Just if you're loving and kind, good for you. Because it's few and far between, but when we were in Hazelton, Wilkes-Barre Hazelton, that hospital was terrible.
Yeah,
it was so bad. But you can go a long way just off some love and kindness,
Absolutely.
and I genuinely mean that.
Yep.
And Adriana Marie says, after years of teachers saying I would never make it, and I'm just proving them wrong every day. And that's
Absolutely.
good for you.
And that's what I want to say too. I want to, same thing. My stepdad, he is dyslexic, and during his time, they didn't really know
what to do.
It was like a new thing, yeah. So he often just people giving up on him. He thought he was stupid, and he was so proud that he did things on his own, and he got himself a house, and now he's very talented in a lot of different things. He's like a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
So
admirable man.
Yeah. So that is another thing too, that sometimes people don't want to deal with others because they don't understand or don't know how to come up with a solution because they don't understand, and that makes me sad. Especially as a child, you should give them more attention and you should try to understand it more because you are shaping their future.
And Peach Red Bull says, stay blessed. Positive vibes from California. Positive vibes back to you from Pennsylvania. And with that, we will end this. And if you guys are curious, we do this every Saturday or Sunday around this time. So anybody who wants to join back in and be part of the conversation, feel free to join us next Saturday or Sunday. And also, we post this on Spotify and YouTube, Together Out Loud podcast. We do it completely live. It's unedited. So all of your comments and all of that we read and everything like that will be in there as well. Adriana Marie says, have a great day. God bless you both. And God bless you as well.